Hey, Sione, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Had you been to Florida much before this recruitment? And then also, could you talk about your relationship with DJ and how important he was in coming out this way?
I've never been to Florida that much. I've been to Sarasota. My mom's older sister lived there, but I never been to this side of town. But my relationship with DJ is a very good teammate. I get to play with him in Oregon State. He's a great quarterback, a great leader, and yeah.
All right, stay, Ira.
How did he kind of win over his teammates when he got there? It seemed like, everybody accepted him pretty quick. What is it about him that gets teammates to like him?
He's a good dude. He's very adaptable, I'm gonna say that way. He get around the guys pretty easily, and he's a friendly guy. So it's easy for him to adapt to the new environment at Oregon State, especially when we came here. So yeah.
All right, we'll come front row to your right for Kurt.
How's it going? What kind of relationship, I guess, before the transfer recruitment did you have with anyone on the FSU staff? And I guess what was it about them, how they recruited you that really appealed and made you end up choosing here?
I don't know anybody in the team before I hit the portal, but I worked with D-Ray back at Oregon State. So once my name officially in the portal, he called me, and it was shocked. I'm like, damn, Florida State. And after that, Coach Norvell FaceTimed me, and it was history after that.
All right, we'll go front row on your left to Brendan.
Following up on that, it seemed like you were excited when Florida State offered you, but you had multiple other options. I guess what about this fit, this specific situation at Florida State appealed to you in your final season of college football?
It really is the development part that I was looking for, because I got one shot. I was in my last year, and after all the things that happened at Oregon State, I was looking for a place that is going to develop me in any other way to the next level, on and off the field. So I think Florida State was the best fit for me.
All right, we'll stay there for Chris.
You talked about development. What is it that you're good at defensive end? What is it that you want to improve upon since your arrival here?
I want to improve on my pass rush. The run defense, I'm all right, but the big thing that I'm looking for is development in the pass rush game.
All right, we'll go second row on your left to Essen.
And it's early in the process, but since your arrival here, how would you connect with Patrick Payton and some of the other transfers at defensive end, just to get a feel of what everyone's be like in that room?
It's been really good. I talked to Marv, Tommy, Pat. I think we have the best end in the nation. So we just got to put the work in now, but I'm happy. I'm excited for what we have in the room.
All right, we'll stay on the left side, go third row, Jordan.
You mentioned it a little bit already, you've never been in this part of Florida before. How has your transition been coming from the Pacific Northwest down to Florida? What's the difference between being in the Southeast from where you were before?
I think the big different part is the weather. In the West Coast, there's a lot of cold. It's cold, especially in Corvallis, but down here in Tallahassee, it's nice and warm. I love the weather here. It almost reminds me of back home, back in the island. So I'm very adaptable I can just go anywhere and just adapt to it. So I really love it out here in Tallahassee.
All right, we'll come back to Essen, second row.
Playing the Pac-12 last year, everyone said that, the final year of the Pac-12, everyone said that was one of the best conference football last year. What did you learn, and what can you bring to moving over to the ACC?
Damn. That is a good question. I'm just gonna bring me. That's it.
We'll come back over here to your right for Ira.
When did you come to the U.S. and when did you first start playing football?
I was born and raised in Tonga. I started playing football in 2016. I was in Hawaii for 3 years, for my 3 years of high school, and then that high school got shut down. I moved to Cali, San Bernardino, for my senior year of high school, and then I went to Oregon State after that.
will be Aslan back right.
So like, how does that all kind of develop for you? I mean, when you were in Tonga, were you watching American football and being a fan of it, or was it later on in life that?
Nah, there's no football back home. Where I'm from, we grew up playing rugby. Football wasn't around me until I came here to the state. I think I was 16 years old when I started learning about what football was. But yeah, football wasn't around me when I was little. So the transition it was hard but easy because I grew up playing rugby. So the physicality of the game is easy for me to transition. But other than learning the playbooks, the rules for rugby, putting the helmet, shoulder pads on, that was the toughest part for me. But as I get used to it, now I love football.
Ira?
Did you, in those early days of football, did they try you in different positions? And also, I've seen the pictures of you when you cut the hair.
Oh yeah, I just got, in high school I moved around. I mean, I just moved around because we didn't have that much guys. So I was play tackle at once and play tight end, and I was a linebacker at once, but I think I'm a true DN. But yeah, I got my hair before after I committed, I decided to cut my hair. It was a new start for me, and I heard it get hot out here in Florida, so yeah, we gotta prepare for that.
We'll go back to Aslan in the back right.
Was part of the plan to move to Hawaii to play American football and learn it, or did you move to Hawaii and then took up the sport?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a story. This guy is a legendary coach in Hawaii, Coach Levi. He wanted to give back to the community by going back home and bring some of the guys that want to chase their American dream. So he brought 9 of us to Hawaii for high school and football. And then after 3 years, the high school got shut down, and then we all go our own ways. And then he found his high school in San Bernardino and brought me there for my senior year. And then I went to Oregon State after that.
We're gonna let Aslan have a follow-up on that one.
I guess, just like per capita, I know there's not American football in Tonga, but there's so many Tongans and Polynesians that play the sport. I mean, how proud are you guys of your heritage to represent? And it just seems that there's something about your guys' culture that allows you guys to be successful at this sport.
Yeah, we are very proud people, and seeing that there's not a lot of us to get to play the sports is all due respect for all the people that went before me. But yeah, it's a very proud thing to be able to play the game that we're not used to it or something. But yeah, it's good.
We'll go back to Ira, second row on your right.
Just following up on the earlier question, so how many of those 9 guys, do you know how many were made it or to the college football or stuck with football?
I'm the only one left.
Really?
Yeah. I love all the guys, but it was hard. We all left home when we was 16 years old. Left the whole family still back in the island, but everybody has to do their own sacrifice to get where we at. But thank God I'm still here.
Ira?
You mentioned the relationship you have with D-Ray. How many other schools were interested, and how hard of did you have a hard decision, or was it pretty much Florida State right away?
It was a hard decision for me. It was a lot of school that talked to me, but they mainly talked to my uncle. I let my uncle handle all that, so he just talked to me after. It was Michigan State, USC, and Oklahoma State, and a couple other schools, Texas A&M. But the time was very short that I had to make the decision. It was after the bowl game, and I only get 5 days to make the decision. I helped in the portal last 3 hours before the portal closed, and but it was between here and USC, and but USC the school part, they didn't really take some of my credit, but Florida State was able to take most of it, and like I mentioned before, the development was better here. So
I'll go back front row on your left to Brendan.
You mentioned moving from home. At this point, you've been out of state. You've been in Pacific Northwest, now Southeast. what has moving around been like for you? And like, I guess, how often are you able to see family? Are they able to get out to games? How does that work for you guys?
It's been tough. My parents never left the island. They never see me. They never see me play the game, and they don't understand what football was. But it's been tough. But I train myself to like don't think about it too much. But yeah, now that I'm used to moving around. I left home when I was 16 and left my parents back like 1,000 miles behind. Now I'm getting to a point that I just used to it already. So yeah.
Okay, we'll stay there for Chris.
In the last month of being here, how have you felt like you've settled in? What have you learned about Tallahassee, and what has it been like for you?
Oh, I'm loving it here in Tallahassee. Great people, very friendly. I'm gonna say good weather and great teammates.
We'll go to SM, second row to the left.
You mentioned that Coach Norvell hopped on a FaceTime with you. What was that conversation like? And you mentioned that you said the rest was history. Like, did that help you like want to be at Florida State? That conversation?
Yeah, after D-Ray called me, there's a FaceTime from Tallahassee number. I didn't know what Tallahassee is. And then I didn't answer the phone. And then he texted me, "You passed the test." Then I answered the phone with no name on it. If he was FaceTime, and it said, head coach Coach Norvell, Florida State. I'm like, ooh. I got everybody call back. And then it just felt different when I talked to Coach Norvell other than other head coach. The energy that he bring over the phone, even when I get here on my official visit, the energy that he bring every day is just different. Like I don't think you get that anywhere else. And even I committed, he called me, he was all happy, and then I thought he was just only like that for the recruitment. But practice, he did the same thing. That's what really stood out to me, the energy that he brings, which is good to push everybody to get better. So, yeah.
We'll go to Aslan in the back right.
Sione, when you talk about development, you've only played the sport for 7 years. How much do you feel that you develop year over year, and how excited are you, and how confident are you that you have even more room to grow this upcoming year?
I've been playing the game since 2016. So the first 3 years was just getting into football, not learning the playbook was, what the defense was, what the offense was. But the youngest day, I really developed a little bit there with my old coach. He really taught me first with the language. Like coming here with no English was hard, and learning the playbook was English. So it was the toughest part for me. But having back in Oregon State, there's this coach that me and him speak the same language, so he teaches me the playbook in our own language. So he's gonna help me pick up the plays pretty fast. But now I can speak a little bit, and then I get able to learn the playbooks a little bit. But the past few years, I feel like I've been developing pretty good, and coming here for the state for my last year, I feel like it's gonna be really make me to become who I want to be as a football player.
All right, we'll go to Ira, second row on your right.
When you came over, were there any NFL teams you really found yourself liking, and are there any players you kind of maybe had your game after you see like you could be that kind of player?
Like coming from back home or coming from Oregon State?
Just in the NFL, watching the NFL since you've been in the States.
I really like Max Crosby and the mentality that he got and the way he played. Like he played hard every play, and that's the guy I really look up to.
Come back to Kurt, front row.
You talked about, I guess, knowing the development at Florida State. I guess, where were you before you entered the portal about, what they've done with guys like Jermaine Johnson, with Jared Verse, and I guess how much did that play a role of, I think they could do something similar with me?
I didn't know all that, but when I took my visit, Coach JB, he talked to me, and then he showed me a lot of what he has done to them boys. He really developed them. They gave me a 1 year transfer, and he really turned them into a first round pick. So I think that's a big part for me. The reason I came here is the development in that way.
All right, our last one's gonna be Logan Robinson on Zoom.
Hey man, can you tell us a little bit behind the scenes with your former teammate, DJ, now teammate at FSU? What is he behind the scenes in the locker room so that fans can kind of get a feel of what their quarterbacks look like?
He's just a great dude. Like I said before, he's a great leader. He's just a quiet guy, very friendly, but yeah, he's a good quarterback, great quarterback, and he's a good dude.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sione.
Thanks, Sione.
Thank you.